Okay, people, welcome back to, well, as always, I'm Robo, and welcome back to a fairly lean weekly. At least leaner than what we've seen in a while. That's not to say that there's nothing, negatives. There ain't nothing to talk about. I'm not saying that. There is a few things to talk about, but not the usual just feast. It makes total sense. Companies ramping up or holding back for the big Toy Fair show in February, or what would have been Toy Fair in February. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But at the same time, it's okay to be lean every now and then. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? I mean, after a dry spell, we get some reveals, and the colors are brighter, and the articulation's bendier, and we look at it, and we want it, we covet, and then we're ready for the next thing. Okay, I got that pre-ordered. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to that. Right now, let's start things off with something outside the Fwoosh wheelhouse. The Hiya Toys 1/18 scale Judge Dredd line. And no, I'm not going to start covering smaller scales. This is going somewhere. We're going to end up in the neighborhood of 1/12 scale in a minute. This week, Hiya Toys debuted pictures of their Judge Fear, which is looking amazing. But I think they did that in order to break the news of schedule changes. Because of everything going on at the moment, things have been pushed back. This softens that blow, as plastic tends to do. The 1/18th Judge Dredd and Judge Death have been pushed back to Q2 of this year. They're saying Judge Fear will also be available or release in Q2, so pre-orders should go up soon, and then Judge Mortis will be Q3 release, and then Dredd's Lawmaster is in Q4. We haven't seen solicitations for them yet. And again, everything discussed so far is 1/18th scale. But along with the update on that schedule, we got an update on the 1/12 scale version of this line. Their 6-inch Judge Dredd will be available in Q2. Judge Death and Judge Fear in Q3, Judge Mortis in Q4. There's no pictures of that larger scale, but you gotta think that the design work and the articulation schemes and everything will follow the smaller scale closely, right? Hopefully we'll see pre-orders for those soon. Are you sick of me saying scale yet? That's what happens in my brain whenever I'm trying to differentiate between, 1/18th, 1/12th, 1/6th. Scale. Let's get back to my comfort zone. And despite what I said at the first, Todd don't take breaks. He's continuing his, is it a 4-week streak of DC Multiverse reveals? Well, okay, the Dark Knight Returns, Armored Batman, and Superman 2-pack isn't really new figure reveals. It's more of a, hey, here's a new package and some slight tweaks. Batman is updated in a blue color scheme and then a new head sculpt. We saw this in a previews ad back when the black and gray was solicited. It was a mystery then, mystery no more. Superman seems to be the same as the Build-A-Horse release though. $40, drops in March. And then McFarlane shocked the world with another Batman. But it's a fairly basic Batman, at least when you compare it to comic art. There's only very slight todifications. And I mean that in proportions. It's unmistakably his DC Multiverse line. It is Rebirth and not super classic. If you're waiting for that, or your version of the most iconic look, then you gotta think that's on the horizon. Because there's a lot of Batmans to go through. In that same wave, a newer version of Damian Wayne Robin. First glance, I thought this was just reuse from the recent Robin we got, but nope, it's an all-new sculpt. New articulation scheme. There's double elbows. Also, there's a cartoon Teen Titans feel to it. Not Go, but the older Teen Titans. But it's multiverse, so there is an unmasked version of this Robin that is a gold label exclusive in bundles on Todd's own store. The bundle with both Robins, masked and unmasked, is $25. And wow, that's a hell of a deal, but then shipping pushes it closer to $40, so it balances out. There's also another bundle containing the whole wave, the Rebirth Batman, Robin, Unmasked Robin, and Clayface. Did I say that weird? Clayface. I say it like that because, this is the one I'm most excited for. Like the Batman, like the Robin, he also got fully solicited across all your favorite online shops. That means more promo pictures. You get a closer look to the horror type faces and things popping out all over his body through the mud. The row of crazy teeth on bottom, which if you don't care for, jaw is articulated, you can shut it. But that took the place of ankle articulation. I can't be too mad though. This is gonna be a mega fig. It's a bigger figure. Maybe it makes it more stable, less agile. I think the sculpt, the feel and everything is outweighing the lack of articulation in some points, for me at least. Batman and Robin are $20 a piece. Clayface is $40, which isn't too bad for this big hunk of plastic. and they are due out in April. And then just last night, the DC Multiverse Endless Winter Build a Frost King wave went up. And again, this has all been revealed before, but promo pictures. I love pouring over those things, finding out if there's any differences or any oddities. Green Lantern seems to be a straight repack of the previous John Stewart, which isn't a bad thing, but they did change up his ring effects, his, what are they called? Constructs. And he's looking straight forward, which, oh man, is this a 180 back to sanity, back to neutral looks? Or is this just using the same mold again? Same paint apps, same everything. Because the Wonder Woman in this wave also has a neutral stare. And while I haven't read DC Comics in a while, I like this look. It keeps a lot of the classic costume look while making it more suitable for Arctic temperatures, which makes sense, I guess, just going by the title, Endless Winter. It seems we may get a variant of this, though. In the bio card, it's showing her holding a shield and then different headgear. Black Adam? There it is. Why are you looking at me? Stop! Again, this is my favorite type of costume. It looks modern, but it has very iconic elements to it. It's kind of that astonishing filter. And then Batman, he's all bundled up, warm and fuzzy. I can't help thinking that if you cut off the ears, you end up with a Snow Day vigilante. You see it? Maybe it's just the goggles. And I guess there's the bat symbol too. His card also shows a darker gray to the under costume, but that may be lighting. $25 a pop because of the extra plastic for Frost King, and these should also show up in April. Sticking with DC, or, well, maybe not so much DC, wink wink. This week's third-party spotlight is the Patriot Studio Master Wayne. Obviously, Bruce Wayne, right? I'm just not used to third-party companies naming unlicensed product this blatantly. Just, hey, it's Master Wayne. Oh, I'm not talking about DC Bruce Wayne. I'm talking about Master Joe Wayne, you know, from... It's just a character we made up. Is he holding a Batman cowl? No. That's just, you know, Halloween cosplay. Don't worry about that. We'll fuzz it out for legal reasons. But if you Google even a little bit, there's also pictures without the fuzz. It's obviously Batman's cowl and some batarangs. It also has a passing resemblance to Robert Pattinson. I mean, it's there, but it's not. That may be on purpose to throw you off. Hey, no, it's not. This is George Wayne. I made an action figure of my uncle, who happens to be rich and collects Batman memorabilia. The suit looks really nice, though. These companies are killing it on the soft goods front. Not so much with the punctuality, though. It's, how much is it? $85. Ships sometime from Q2 through Q4 of this year, in the future. Whenever it shows up. If you want it, better to just click it and forget it. The link to 5K Toys is in the description, and remember, it says $10. That's just the deposit. You'll pay the rest of the $85 once it comes in. Storm Collectibles is up to their usual tricks, where they start the year announcing exclusives that are just minor variants of action figures they've been releasing for a couple of years now, and it's not surprising. You can't even hate them for it. They're making money on existing molds. It's what companies do. They're just changing up the color schemes and the plastic translucency to give you more toys. Well, harder to get toys when they make them overseas exclusive. The site, The Falcon's Hangar, apparently has something with blue, getting a Street Fighter IV Evil Ryu in that blue color scheme, and then a 2-pack of Golden Axe skeletons in Blueberry Jolly Rancher. Anime's Pro gets those same 2 figures, but in a red color scheme. Oh man, when it comes to clear red plastic, it's just lickable, you know? You just want to put it in your mouth, even though you shouldn't do that with toys. And red and blue always makes me think of Walmart Target situation. Hey, we want exclusives that are blue and red to fit our color scheme. Like I said, harder to get, but some of these exclusives sometimes pop up in other places. Big Bad Toy Store did have 3 of the 4, but they sold out of the skeletons. I'm figuring that's a situation where they just bought it direct from those overseas sites. They're not getting an allotment of their own. Links are in the description if you want to give it a go, though. Whoo, Mezco! Had a rough week, didn't you? The hype built up for their 1/12th day on January 12th, 1/12th, and then it ended up just being a pre-order for the Silent Screamers Nosferatu Symphony of Horror Edition. Horror. At midnight, with the site crashing as soon as it flipped 12, and then stayed down for more than an hour. Lots of unhappy campers. The figure itself, though, is an amazing variant of that first version of Nosferatu. They update the color palette with the deep blacks and the reds to contrast against the undead gray of the skin. It just works. They've also added the vacuum formed mist along with some creatures of the night. The head options from the first release were some of my favorite things, and here it's no different. They ditched the mean and subdued heads and gave a more meaner, animalistic type head, and then a shit. I walked out into the sun. I know better than to do that. For the reused leering head, the use of the gray on the skin, the shading there, and then the red eyes peering out, it does so much to change the feel of it. If I decided to get one of these, that's definitely the head I would have used. Although, I can't tell if the ring on the red eyes is painted on, or if that's a ring light, because it kind of moves picture to picture. It's a cool effect though. I like how it stands out. If I had got one and it doesn't come with that ring, I would have definitely painted that on there. It just, like I said though, this was a cluster to order when it was actually in stock or available, which is odd because the past few releases have been easy breezy. Maybe it was the time frame going up at midnight, something, I don't know. If you missed out on it, it's still on waitlist. You can take your chances there. Will I take my chances? No. $95 ships out in the next month or so. Otherwise, there was some disappointment that there weren't any new reveals or updates on the actual 1/12 day. But again, February's a big month for toy reveals. I'm sure they're building up to something. We had already seen a tease, or well, I guess it was a grayscale prototype of the Sentinel fighting armor War Machine, but promo pictures are now leaking out, which means, if not already, I haven't checked in the past 10 minutes, pre-orders should be going up soon. And it's War Machine. It's kind of a no-brainer to put him in a line of Iron Man armors put on other characters. He's kind of the original. Again, same base body figure to figure. They've added the weapons to the back that seem to go all over the place, the chest overlay that bulks them up a bit, the heavy forearms with weapons on that too, and then the hunky-chunky lower legs. Just a lot here to change it up. This could be used as a 616. This could be used on your Legend shelf. That is, if you're in the market for a die-cast armored-up character. I took a look at the Fighting Armor Deadpool a while back, and besides some design choices, like the hip rods that kind of get in the way, it's a fun figure just to get into poses and the shininess and the overall presence on the shelf. No actual info yet, it's just pictures floating around on the net, but that should be soon. Finally, sticking with armored up Marvel characters, there is the Bandai SH Figuarts Tech-On Avengers Captain America. We've seen a few images of this. Just last week, they revealed the armor bulk-on bits, but this week is the actual pre-order, which means pretty promotional pictures, which means more stuff to gander. Apparently, the red torso and arm pieces are the actual shield, breaking apart, transforming and becoming an extra layer of protection. It even comes with that extra shield so you can do that effect. And then there's energy coursing out of that too. It's just it's an interesting visual. There's a regular shield that comes with a fling effect and then an attachment for the wrist to make it look like it's actually flying out from his hand. I think we've seen something similar in other SHF Captain Americas. There's blasts for the hands and feet for flight or repulsors, however you want to use them. But on top of all of that craziness, there's a big ice fist, big blue force punch. I've talked about it a few times how I wasn't into this as a concept, but I feel like I really underestimated the ingenuity and imagination put in. It's just a beautiful mix of Captain America and Iron Man without either being straight in your face. It's obviously Captain America and Iron Man, but they meld so well together. Plus, you having some control over how crazy you want to get with the overall look. Options are fantastic. I'll always say it. And that, along with the different looks between characters, is what sets it apart from the Sentinel fighting armor line. But all those extras also mean a higher price. This is going to run you between $120, $130, depending on where you pre-order it. Tamashii Nations also posted some new pictures of some upcoming figures. Well, okay, the Spider-Man and the Wolverine are the same as what we've seen before. But the group shot, them all together, yeah. They also posted this Black Panther picture with his extra gear on top. Looks like some headgear and some opening chest pieces, some paw claws to go over the hand, and even a tail. Makes me wonder what the other characters are going to get. I can only guess that Captain Marvel gets energy effects of some kind. Spider-Man's got to come with Waldo's, I would think. It's kind of that Iron Spider thing. And then Wolverine. Claws! Claws!
More claws!
Claws, claws, claws. Has the comics shown what their Super Saiyan forms look like? Probably, now that I'm thinking about it. I guess I should read a comic instead of just daydreaming on camera. Still fun, though. And that is it for this week. Despite there not being a lot to talk about, this took me forever because I could not get words to come out of mouth today. But if I missed anything, I'll swing back around to that next week. If you're interested in seeing any of these pictures up close without me not getting talk about it, all the stuff I edited out when I couldn't, I'll be posting all of that plus links to pre-orders, more information on the Fwoosh front page Saturday at noon. Oh, and what a difference a week makes. Just 7 days ago, I was talking about how Toy Fair themselves were posting the show's gonna go on, even though we were hearing companies pulling out. A week later, Toy Fair's canceled. That just means we're in for more live streams, or social media posts, or surprise pre-orders. Most of the toy companies like to stick around that time. Even if Toy Fair isn't happening, they were already planning reveals. So they got to do that at some point. Might as well do it online. And as much as I miss shows, I also don't mind us all getting the information at the same time. I gotta think companies are looking at this as, hey, we're saving on hotel costs, travel costs, food, convention floor costs, setup time, teardown time. Now we can just take our guys, put them in front of a camera, send pictures in emails or on Twitter or Facebook, and then boom, it's out there. Gets us looking, ready to buy more toys. But I also miss face-to-face. Why did you do that? Yeah, I see what you're doing there. Maybe someday. If you enjoyed the Fwoosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. Yeah, a lean week, well, depending on what you're into. If you're into McFarlane, oh, you got a lot of pre-orders to put in. I pre-ordered the Clayface. I'm on the fence with Nosferatu. And then the Tech-On Avengers Captain America has almost sold me. I wasn't too into the Iron Man. Maybe it was too much or too Iron Man-y, but the Captain America, I skipped on the fighting armor. I should probably get the Tech-On.